Budget fam, it's Jordan from Jordan Budgets. Today we are talking about how I'm starting to shift around my budget in preparation for my big move to Nashville, Tennessee. If you are new around here, welcome. This channel is all about budgeting. I do cash stuffings on Monday and Friday. We typically have some other budgeting related style video throughout the week. And then on the weekend, I like to upload something that is a bit more personal, maybe a vlog, maybe sharing how I organize something else that is not budget related. But for the most part, this is a budget related channel. Before I dive into how I'm changing my budget in preparation for my big move to Nashville, Tennessee, let's first talk about some of the groundwork, okay? Because there's a few things that I guess should be understood before we dive into things. One, I am planning on moving in July. July is sort of the target right now. My boys will finish their current schooling programs the very end of May, and then that will give us all of June to kind of hang out with family. Maybe right after the 4th of July is what I'm thinking is my ideal move date. It is currently February, so we have what? All of February, March, April, May, June, July. So we have about 5 full months, I would say. I am a single mom. We live on a single income. I have 2 small boys. Next year, they will be in kindergarten and 2nd grade. The other thing we need to go ahead and get out of the way is that I do currently make all of my money on Etsy and YouTube. So the cool thing about Etsy and YouTube, and the scary thing about Etsy and YouTube, is that your income can dramatically increase or decrease depending on the month. So far, things have been going really well. I'd say at the end of the year, things were going crazy well. I was making way more than I needed to, and then at the start of this year, so January was a really slow month for me, and we're gonna see what February does, right? Okay, what I'm really trying to say is I work off of Etsy and YouTube, and yes, like January was a slow month for me. There's potential for slow months. For the most part, you have the ability and the hope to increase your income if you need to, right? So I'm currently in a place where overall I make more on most months than what I currently spend or need to spend on my current bills. So I'm considering that sort of groundwork and something you need to know when I'm setting up this budget, because I know a lot of people are on a fixed income and you can't really say, oh, well, to prepare for my move, I just need to shift more money here and there, because you don't have that kind of extra money, and I understand that this is not everybody's situation. I'm just going to explain what I'm doing and what I'm thinking for this season of life before I move. So with those things being said, I currently have my expenses basically broken up into 3 categories. I have bills, which are things that come every single month that are like the roof over my head, water, internet, all of those staples. Schooling, I consider a bill. Anything that would be really life-changing if we didn't have it all of a sudden, right? And then I have things that I would consider expenses, like going out to eat with my sons, or fast food, or self-care, family fun throughout the week. Those kinds of categories are just our general expenses. The other category that I have is savings. I do have short-term and long-term savings, also called sinking funds or savings challenges. So those are my 3 categories. As someone who's on Etsy and YouTube, I do have a 4th category that is business expenses, and that would be things like purchasing products that I need to supplement for my Etsy listings, or it could be taxes. It could be buying the rights of an image so I can use it on something in my shop. The list goes on for business expenses, but for the purposes of this prep to move and these categories, I'm not really going to be talking about business expenses because those are things that just have to be paid. So those are really taken care of first before I move into my personal expenses. Of course, if you would love to hear about my business expenses and how I'm handling all of that money, leave me a comment below. I would be happy to share that. I just have not shared that yet as I've been figuring things out. Okay, that was a very lengthy intro. If you are still here, thank you. Okay, so those 3 categories for me are bills, expenses, and savings. So what I'm doing is every couple of months, I'm going to try to increase my income, or at least make sure it's stable to where I can cover all of these bills as if I've already moved, okay? So I'm taking the first category this month in February. February and March, I'm going to make sure I can cover all of the bills as if I was already living in Nashville. So what that means is every single week when I am cash stuffing, I need to be stuffing extra money into the different categories and making sure I would be able to pay all of my bills as if I were already living in Nashville. In doing that, I'm also going to be creating a little cushion for myself. So part of the preparation for making sure I'm able to pay my bills in Nashville, I've been doing a lot of research this week on the area I would like to live in and the school I would like to have my boys in and all of those kind of things. So we are going to write out right here what my bills will be in Nashville compared to what they are now. So these are all of the bills that I currently pay and that I expect I will continue to pay in Nashville. There are some things that are missing, I'm sure of it, but the beauty of this process is I'm at least preparing myself for what I know is to come. So if there's a couple things that pop up, I only have to stress about those couple things that I didn't know to plan for and not everything. So I currently pay $980 for rent and about $70 for water and trash. I'm not actually going to Nashville. I was thinking I was going to Franklin, but now I'm looking somewhere just outside of Franklin. So kind of on the border of Franklin. I'm currently looking for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house or apartment, and that looks like it's going to be about $2,000 just for the rent. I'm going to factor that water and trash is going to be about $150. It may not be that much. I'm just kind of going off of the idea that rent is double, so water and trash might be double. So tuition, I pay $410 for my youngest son to go to a private preschool. By the time I pay my older son's co-op for homeschooling and I pay the mother's helper to help me out with him, I pay about $300 a month towards basically both of their schooling. I did find a program for both of my boys for homeschooling. It is going to run from about 8 in the morning until 11, so it's just 3 hours every single day for both of them. Honestly, that is my super ideal schedule because they do a lot of the more schooling things with them, and then I still have lunchtime and all of the day to enjoy with them. I wanted to love public school. You guys know I had my oldest in public school for a while. We had some issues with it. I would say my personal biggest issue with public school was just the fact that they were never allowed to play. My son in first grade had 20 minutes of recess time, and that included snack time. They had to sit and eat their snack first, and then they were allowed to play. So what is that, 10, 15 minutes tops to play during the entire day? I really want them to still have some kind of structured time with their peers in school. So this program is ideal for me. I'm prefacing all of that because I know you guys are going to be like, what? When it comes to this price, this program that is 3 hours a day for them, it will be about $1,000 per month for both of them to be in that program. That will give them 3 hours with their peers and with teachers, and then it gives me some time to get some work done during those few hours. I do realize $1,000 for homeschool co-ops for a few hours a day, it's expensive. It is the cheapest that I can find in the area. That is something like what I'm looking for. This is my ideal, right? This does not mean that this is what's actually going to happen or I will actually be able to afford this, but this is just my ideal situation. I pay $140 to $150 for electric every single month right now. I expect to pay similar. Now, I could be wrong in that, but I expect to pay about the same for heating and cooling in Tennessee. I don't know. So I kept that one the same. For gymnastics, I currently pay $110 for gymnastics. I expect to pay about $150 for gymnastics. I am adding swim. They're not currently in swim, but we go and swim together all of the time. I have not found somewhere that has really open family swim like where we go currently, so maybe I'll be able to find something cheaper, but we pay about $50 for our membership to the local pool that we go to. Once we're in Tennessee, I expect to put them in swim lessons, which would be more expensive. I am not set on that. That's just sort of what I'm thinking is going to happen. I currently pay $80 for internet, and I'm thinking it's going to be similar. Insurance, I pay $27 in renter's insurance right now, and I expect that's going to be more like $50 once we move. And then pets. Pets is a new category as far as my bills go. I'm going to start putting $100 a month into pets, and I expect we will continue to put 100. That's for like emergencies, vet needs, that kind of thing. So let's total these out and see what we were paying for bills versus what we expect to pay now. Okay, so the total of our bills for Mississippi is I pay about $2,277 a month for my bills, which works out to almost $570 in a 4-week month, right? So I would typically put about $570 into this red binder. This is my bills binder. I put all of my bills in here except for rent. I haven't been putting rent, though I might soon be breaking things up and putting rent in here. But this is just all of my bills. I break it up by week. I put about $500 a week in here, maybe $400 when I was using YouTube as my way to pay rent. I think I'm gonna take that away. That's the story for another day, but I would typically, I'm putting aside about $570 a week to pay all of my bills. So for Tennessee, my bills are going to be $3,830, so that's clearly a big jump. That's mostly due to the increase in rent, and tuition's also a little bit higher. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 710 is what I've been paying for tuition. I will be paying about $1,000. So this 3,830 breaks up into 900 and let's say 58-ish per week in a 4-week month. So I need to be putting aside almost $1,000 every single week just for bills for Tennessee. From now forward, I will be trying to put aside this amount every single week into bills, or at least close to it, and get me to where I can comfortably do this. So when I move to Tennessee, I'm not in complete shock, right? It's not that big of an adjustment because I had been saving that money. So again, it's not quite double, but it's almost double. So any money that I'm putting aside starting now is going to create a little bit of a bills cushion for me. By the time I move in July, I will have that bills cushion for bills for when I have a slow month on Etsy. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I talk in circles and I don't actually say the thing that I meant to say. But to sum it all up, I will be stuffing a lot more money into this bills binder. Next week, we will likely have a binder sort of shuffle and move around. Y'all know I shuffle my binders and I change categories every couple of months as I reprioritize and strategize how I'm organizing and planning things. It's just my process. But I really wanted to explain myself because I will likely be putting rent back in this binder, and I think to keep things less confusing for everyone, I will probably still just be trying to hit my target, like preschool's $410, mother's helper. I want to put $50 a week. Electric is $140. I will keep my current bills the same. I will be putting a lot more into this 1 month ahead. Typically I need to put what, like $1,600 into 1 month ahead every single month if I want to be stuffing comparatively to what I'm gonna need just for regular bills by the time I move. I hope that made sense, guys. Bills is my target for February and March. If and when I can successfully meet those goals, then I will try to increase my expenses amounts that I'm giving myself, and then also increase my sinking funds and my savings challenges if I feel those need to be increased. If I'm unable to increase those, though, at least I know my bills would be taken care of without me stressing out too much. That is it for today's video. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.